A week ago, I had the opportunity to question the CEO of the University Health Network in Ontario about personal protective equipment. Watch to see what he had to say. It was very concerning. We've all seen it. Masks, gloves, face shields, hand sanitizer. This is known as personal protective equipment, or PPE. The procurement of PPE for healthcare, for businesses, and for Canadians is an important function of the federal government, precisely to prepare for something like COVID-19. In 2013, the Conservative government was spending $73 million every year on Canada's strategic PPE supply for pandemic preparedness. The Liberals reduced that spending by a third, which resulted in closing the Regina PPE warehouse. More on that later. On May 1st, as part of my committee involvement, I had the opportunity to question Dr. Kevin Smith, CEO of the University Health Network, about his experience working with the government on PPE. Let's watch what he had to say.
Has that been challenging in this environment, trying to get PPE and source it, first of all, and have good quality PPE?
It has been very challenging. As we know, very little of this material, or the more common materials, have continued to be made in North America. We were the purchasing agent for a very large number of masks and other supplies, which unfortunately did not come to fruition in the order of 100 million masks. And unfortunately, we have not seen the large orders internationally be realized and land on ground.
Did you hear that? Very little PPE is manufactured in North America. 100 million masks ordered, but never delivered. And later in the interview, he told me that PPE shipments destined for Canada never made it past the USA. The result of this is that our healthcare industry is struggling to fulfill their demand for PPE. As our businesses start to reopen, there will be an even larger demand for PPE. Our PPE supply chain is a concern. Now, most of the world's PPE is manufactured in China, and the situation has been declared as the Wild West. With every country in the world searching for PPE, entire planes are being diverted to reach the highest bidder. As we heard from Dr. Smith, many of our shipments were rerouted to the United States mid-flight. What we need is a safe, consistent supply chain for PPE. What we need is a made-in-Canada solution. Many Canadians have already come up with innovative solutions to our public health needs. There is the University of Saskatchewan engineering team designing 3D printed N95 masks. Local distilleries have been producing hand sanitizers. Lucky Bastards, Stumbletown, Minhas, to name a few. And there are many more people helping out, right down to individuals sewing face masks. Thank you to all who've sought solutions so far. Remember that government warehouse in Regina? The one the Liberals closed down? They threw out 2 million N95 masks and hundreds of thousands of gloves. Turns out, we desperately needed this PPE just a few months later when COVID hit. Rather than the government being proactive and managing a strategic supply of PPE, they did the opposite and actually threw it away. Former Senator David Tkachuk said, "It's not stockpile management at all. It's mismanagement." Last month, I called on the federal government to provide workplace guidelines for PPE so that employers can provide a safe and responsible working environment and understand the rules to follow. Employers need to know that they have the proper protections, and workers need to know that they will be safe when returning to work. Without proper guidelines, PPE might be wasted or used unnecessarily. At this time, we don't have the luxury of wasting PPE. Government must do its job and provide guidelines along with the strategic sourcing and storing of vital supplies like PPE. This pandemic will change a lot of things, and how we look at our supply chains might be one. Right now, Canadians are starting to get back to work. Make sure you have plenty of hand sanitizer and the right PPE. And stay safe.